later because I'll be dual streaming now. Okay, I have the chart up on the screen for today. It was interesting because yesterday we also had our North Node. Our Mercury is also conjunct our North Node today in gate 37. And then our Saturn in gate 25, which has been making some interesting aspects. We have a Mars-Mercury conjunction today, which also is interesting in terms of getting into arguments more, people misunderstanding each other during a Mercury retrograde, of course. You know, I feel like a lot of us are the people that are like, I'm gonna stay put in my house and enjoy where I am right now to make sure that I don't, you know, get in an argument with a random person for no reason. And I find that those things kind of, those situations happen when people don't confront the people that they aren't brave enough to confront in their own lives. So it hemorrhages out with the wrong people in the wrong place with the wrong time, or in the wrong time. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Chicken with rice and tortilla, I love that. Yes, Jax, I just had what's it called? Like a Mexican style quesadilla wrap myself. I worked out and I was like, I need protein and iron, so all the iron. Thank you guys, it's nice to see you. I'm dual streaming to TikTok. YT is on my left, TT is on my right. So I'm dual streaming simultaneously. Oh, you have no power upstate. That's crazy. Yeah, it's been so windy. It feels like the winds of change are there. I hope you're feeling better, Ferrari. But yeah, we were talking about, yeah, Orion, I'm so ready for more accountability for everyone. Exactly. And it's like that energy of like when people are accountable, it's not for, hi Conor McGregor, it's not for any, I think we're going through the changes. I will say this, there are people that are trying to hold people accountable under the guise of like, basically being a keyboard warrior, you know, and having that energy of like, well, you should take responsibility and this is what I think that you should do, but like it's a do as I say, not as I do. And then there are the people who truly want like reciprocal accountability, where it's like, I want you to be accountable, but I also want to keep, you guys know I've said this for a long time, I also want to keep my side of the street clean and make sure that it's not about like pointing fingers or blame shifting or getting off on making people feel bad about themselves under the guise of them taking accountability. And so we see how people on the internet can have that kind of like, the visual that I can give to it is like the foaming at the mouth for like like a takedown of somebody else. And I think that's why this space, specifically on my right hand side, less so my left, less so you guys that are over here, on YT, I see it more so this last year. You know, that's why I'm like, okay, where am I shifting? What's changing? You know, we see that kind of distinct difference. Yeah, Nini, exactly. Yeah, I just want to brag a little bit. Help the clients and get rid of a shadow. Oh wait, hold on. It just, where'd it go? Get rid of a shadow person bothering them. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, and perfect wording. A+ in the vocabulary. I love that. That's so cool and such a relief. I was actually talking about, yesterday I was out to dinner with one of my friends who is up visiting from one of the Carolinas for the week. And he was telling me how they were at a family friend's house. I don't remember if it was this week or sometime over the last like couple months or so, and how they were like had a house blessing because there was a little girl spirit that was running around her house. So it's been fun because no, this is the Birth of Venus by Botticelli. This is a 500-year-old replica of an Italian Renaissance painting. As you guys know on YouTube, I always have to explain. Now you're a little cut off halfway here. But yeah, let me tune back in for a second in my live chat over here. Oh yeah, thanks, Jax. I want Brenda to pay attention here, and then I'll say, yeah, there you go. Perfect timing. I don't know what you mean. Speaking of handles, at least I'm not a car. There you go. You guys are so funny. But yeah, discussing spiritual strategy and self-trust. Share your astrology questions. That's our AI summary of the day. Oh, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I recognize your handle and your username. It's been a while. I wasn't on last weekend. I was on the week before last, and I've only been live on TikTok on Saturdays. I have my link. Now that it's been daylight savings time and it gets dark out around like 7 p.m. here, I think I'm gonna add on another weeknight again. And I'll figure out what night of the week. Hi, Jenny. Thank you for the heart me. And thank you guys for liking the live. It lets other people know that good things are happening here too. So I appreciate you. I have a week off of school because I told my parents about the thing. Oh yeah. I love that, Ferrari. That's so good. See what happens? Like, it's a good reminder that like when you ask, you shall receive, you know, and letting people know when you're not feeling 100%. I'm so glad that you advocated for yourself like that too. I'm proud of you. Yeah. And also I think it's like time and place. Like you could give it back to Connor over here too, but I think it's a matter of feeling just a little bit sensitive anyway right now, right? So it's like you need a more tender version of Connor if he's willing to comply. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. Oh, that's so funny. I love that, Ferrari. That's so cute. Yeah, I'm dual sharing for those of you guys who are coming in just now. But thank you for sharing the live. Yeah, it's so nice to have more sunlight. I agree. Yeah, what's kind of also been coming to me, it was interesting because I had the moon in Capricorn in my 12th house, which is very much always activates kind of like I definitely have the gift of discernment. A lot of what I talk about and why I named this live and have been using the new vocabulary of spiritual strategist is because I know a lot about a lot of different things because I'm a nerd like that. And I've read for a while. Hi, Kobe, welcome. And so I was like, what are some of the other things? Because I could do human design only, but like human design is a piece of what I've been doing. But I've also been, for those of you that have booked with Patreon psychic mediumship sessions with me, you know, talking about business, it's kind of all encompassing. So it feels like that's a better way for us to be able to just kind of get the general understanding and true Pluto in my first house fashion. It'll be there for the next 19 years. So I'll probably look like an entirely different person 19 years from now, even if just energetically in the best way. But yeah, no, Connor's not bullying you. Yeah, I know. This format is my only format for Saturdays. It's because I do live readings, Eloise. So I book, when people book with me on Calendly, I have the link open, $15, 10 minutes. You guys get a link to the recording. For any questions, anything you're having trouble with, you can book there and then I'll send you a copy of the recording. But that's why I have this up, because that way people can see their chart too. So they can see what I'm looking at when it comes to, this setup, so to speak. Yeah, I know the term is so good. Yes. But hello, Morocco. It's been so interesting just kind of going into this year of 2026 and a lot of the changes. I think that, I mean, I know that I felt so much better just having the shift of Jupiter going direct in Cancer, and then we'll have it in Leo a little bit later this year. I also feel like it's important, just kind of like some of the intuitive downloads and stuff that I can share with you is that, and I'll answer your question in a second, Catherine. But I've been thinking a lot about time and how playing games with time has been, hi criminal, has been a really crazy kind of thing. Connor, so with the readings, I have on my page, also in the show notes or description of this live, there's a link to what's called Calendly, and it's my booking software where you can pay for a 10-minute reading. It's $15 US, and then I'll send you a recording. So it's based on your birth date, time, and location. And then I'll start with that, and then we'll talk about like any problem that you may be having. A chart, honestly, for me, because I am very intuitive, is just a launching off point. I've been this way even before I started reading charts. So that's something that I have to my benefit in that way, to say that in a non-arrogant way, but that's why like I have a level of confidence that it comes to with my work. But Catherine, so 10 years ago, I graduated from college, my degree in art history. And I was like, okay, I still feel lost. Like, I got this degree, this 4-year degree. What is it that I'm going to do with the rest of my life? And I took every personality test under the sun. And I started working in arts and music management, and I found human design. And I was like, I like this. I feel much more aligned in a spiritual discipline. That works too, criminal. But, you know, that to me always felt like I didn't have somebody that really could give me a good directive in my life, but I always knew that I could trust myself. Yes, INFJ. I'm not live on Fridays usually, Abuzar, but nice to see you again. So all that to say, I started to just practice, and basically the best way, like the reason I'm able to pick up on so many things is A, psychic intuitive, B, I practiced for 4 years before I charge anybody for readings. So I will be doing a little bit. You guys are getting the first notice of this right now, but I'm officially starting to teach classes this year. So I will be doing a level of a ethical certification program for human design readings in the way that I do it. So the way that I do it, the type of research that I've done is a 1-3. So if you guys are interested in that, you can send me a message about it. But the first course that I'm going to be teaching is going to be about the astrology of human design. So if you already know about astrology and you want to do an astrology of human design kind of intersection, I'm going to give you guys all of the PDFs or recordings so that you can take them into your readings and become a better reader. Better readers feel like you can recall the information like I do, because a lot of what I know that I have as my gift is the ability to figure out how to put everything together to help you guys recall the information in a much more succinct way. So you don't need, honestly, it's 50% of the data, the other 50% of the energetics of what you have to do to ground in a session like that. So I'm excited to be able to connect the dots for you guys. But the first thing, I have a wait list for the actual workshop first. Thank you. The actual workshop that we're doing first is linked in my bio, and that's going to be in like the mid-spring. So for Patreon, if you've been a member of my Patreon for 3 months, a paying member of Patreon, you guys are going to get a 50% discount on that course. So you have it. But yeah, I'll answer again in a second. Let me go here. Yes, birth date, time, and location. Exactly. Hi, Darshak. Hello. Oh yeah, is it a little loud? I can turn it down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I'm projecting my voice. There you go. Yeah, Eloise and Ferrari are together. But yeah, Jenny, so you can send me a message. But if you want to do specifically the astrology of human design workshop that I'm doing, it's more so a master class, I think is probably the more appropriate name. That Google form is at the link. You will not get an email if you do not fill out the form. So if you're interested even remotely in knowing more about it, you have to fill out the Google form for me to email you about it. I only want people who like actually, you know, are invested, or else like this Pisces has burned out a lot of time in my boundaryless days. I'm not doing it anymore. But yeah, so Catherine, the short and sweet answer was that I went to school for, yeah, of course. I went to school for art history. And I left and I was working in arts and music management in New York City. And I was like, I just don't feel like, you know, I did this, I got a 4-year degree. I don't really know what it is that I want to do with my life still. So, you know, I was taking every personality test under the sun. Exactly, Orion. And I found human design. And so I started doing a deep dive, but I was also saying that a lot of what makes me a good reader is that I have the gift of discernment, recollection, retention. So having that, you know, connection of all of those things together also helps, but it's not something that can't be taught. So that's when I went into, hi Chelsea, talking about how I'll be teaching this year, and how you can also pull on like putting all the pieces together. I definitely feel like this is the year of me really passing the baton in a lot of ways and allowing myself to teach you guys how to do it in, like I said, an ethical certification program, because ultimately, you know, it's an exchange for the ease and time and hours that it's, you know, it's taken me 10 years to get this good, but I can still teach you guys how to do it in, you know, a couple weeks of a certification, or just with the astrology of human design stuff, it'll be a 90-minute workshop. So I'm excited. Let me see. Oh, you guys, okay, we're chatting to each other. 240T. Yes, I'm an American from the Northeast, so it's just how I talk. I can't slow down. I'm not an English teacher at this time, at least. We'll see. But yeah, so for me, it's like a lot of people in this space say that they want to be about it, but I've really had the best way I could say it, and it's the words of Dr. Ike, who's posts a lot on TikTok, but also on social media, is that I cannot care more about your situation more than you. So there's a lot of people, that are like, I want to do this with you, I want to do that with you. And I'm like, that's great, but stop saying it and be about it. Like, I value and who I am as a person, the way that I am, is because if I say I'm going to do it and I bring other people into it energetically, there's follow through there. And what happens, because I wasn't always like that, I realized that was part of the reason why I would break promises to myself and then stay in this kind of like negative downward spiral of like breaking promises to myself that I should have been able to keep even in the most simplest way. And that really being a big thing that's important for the people that I surround myself with, even as you guys that take classes with me, or, Patreon, like people that I have in a session, like I value people who actually are like, the world is crazy, but like we have no choice but to do what we can with the present moment. And we have to follow through on the things that we say that we want to be about, because we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow, so it's like, I know that sounds morbid, but truly a lot of you guys on YouTube will ask me like, how do I stay so positive? And it's like, because I truly live every day as if it could be my last in some point, so that's something that's very important. We were talking a lot about grit on YouTube. Billionaire, she need a billionaire? No, we definitely don't need any more of those. Some people were busy, so it's fair. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Top, I love that. Oh, Cinnamon Girl, Lana Del Rey, there you go. But yeah, I think that there's a lot I can feel that will shift in a way that we've never seen before in the world. We're seeing it right now. Like when people say like the term broadly, like we're all living in unprecedented times, I truly feel that. And I'm like, if you have even a remote inkling to do something spiritual, like now's the time to jump on it, and I feel like we cannot. And I was having this conversation with one of the psychic readings that I was doing this week with a member of our Patreon, and how when you don't follow through on your downloads, the things that you get intuitively that you feel like you should be doing, whether you say that it's an information that you get from God or, whatever, like your source of information, of spiritual information, it also creates kind of like this damning energy of preventing the information that's supposed to use you as its conduit. And then people, especially my projectors, it's true, but people feel bitter and mad and frustrated as to why they're not getting the results when they don't allow themselves to give a good outlet in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, that's what keeps me grounded, understanding that I'm making big waves, but they have to build. Absolutely. And I think it's like, I was having this, meta conversation with my friend yesterday at dinner about how like our purpose can feel so small, but also can be so vast at the same time, where it really is about like when you are in that messy middle, sometimes there's moments where like your gift to the world is just showing up and being a person that's positive to the people in your home. Or even if you're the only person in your home, there is a benefit to be able, no, you're fine. I'm going to pivot back to you guys in a second. Namaste to you guys. But there is my brain went like in 3 different directions at the same time. But yeah, just the ability to, my core point in saying that was to be able to trust yourself and know that trust yourself enough to know that whatever you have on your mind, on your heart, the things that you want to do, you should do them. And you can change. I really believe that we can change the energy. Energy is everything. Everything is energy. When you allow yourself to know that even when you don't leave your house and you put an effort into having a positive mindset, even if it's just for you in your home, that does mean something. There's a lot of people that go out into the world and are trying to give their pain an outlet. I will also say that I think it's appropriate, probably channeled for someone here, don't let other people use you as an outlet for their pain. People try to do it to me all the time, right? It happens online. It's a part of being online. But I know that, so it doesn't actually affect me because I know, I've seen that play before. Like it's not going to be the first time, not going to be the last time. But the cost of your dreams, especially if you're somebody that desires and getting recognition, putting yourself out there, comes with the cost of visibility. You have to be visible in some way. Hello, someone. Yeah. Have an exam. Abuzar, good luck. Yes, absolutely. Good luck. Ask the top psychologist who's the chairman now. Are you the top psychologist? Is that what you're saying? I was also watching, there was an interesting video with politically in the US yesterday, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, your family made a crazy portrait of you. There you go. This is a version of a natal chart, an astrological chart called a human design body graph, kind of similar to a personality test. Let me go back here. Yeah, one thing you taught me was not to push for too much too fast and honor your capacity. Absolutely. I'm so glad that was helpful. Yeah, because I think also like when in your situation too, like when you're dealing with a chronic illness, you're like, and I remember saying this to my brother when he was diagnosed with his mental illness. And I said, everybody has a hard. When you get diagnosed with something or you have some sort of chronic illness, you kind of can see your hard, ironically, a little bit easier than another person. You kind of know the set of circumstances or have an official kind of like name or something you can look at that somebody has given you as a launching off point to say like, okay, this is my box. I don't have to make the box feel this tight, and this small, but I'm aware that these are kind of like the healthy boundaries. We can do anything that we want to do, but we can't do everything that we want to do at the same time. And so that alone, even just for manifesting generators, is important. Think about how many times, we see people that say, I'm launching this business, this is coming soon, and it doesn't happen because they were trying to use other people's energy to propel, yeah, of course, Mark, it's nice to meet you, to propel their success or their launching off point, when the thing that I try to teach other people is that you have to be so excited about it that if nobody else cares, you would still do it anyway. And that's what happens when we put our metrics, our personal metrics for success on the reaction of somebody else. When you don't allow yourself to, Seychelles, welcome. When you don't allow yourself to follow through on whatever it is that you want to follow through on because you want somebody else to be excited about it for you, that's how you know that your priorities or your values are in the wrong place. Yay, Jenny, I'm so excited. I'm excited to do your audio guide for you. Thank you so much. Plug in my little heater. It was snowing last night, but 3 days ago it was 70 degrees. So the back and forth is a little crazy. Oh yay! Okay, I see Samantha. Okay, Samantha booked for next week. Yay. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure I wasn't yapping. Hi, gorgeous. I just saw that you booked. It's nice to see you. I was like, wait, let me make sure I'm not talking over you right now. I hope you're doing good. Hi, Brandon. But yeah, criminal. I know you and I could probably have we'll have to think of some good psychology questions to ask each other about what it is that we know. In Utah, oh my gosh, I just finished watching, I'm on the last episode of the newest season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Yeah, I'm so excited. It'll be nice to strategize with you. Yes, thank you, you too. But yeah, what I was saying though is like choose it, like when you kind of have, and it's not even like a chronic illness diagnosis can be your hard. You can identify that me as a Scorpio moon, with the way that I am, I'm an emotional person, like I'm a sensitive person, but I have learned over time how to pay attention to the things that I actually need to let affect me, my very Aquarius rising way. That's like looking at something. So I know like everything has a time and a place for when I feel my feelings, or I'm always processing. I'm always making sure that I'm processing, but I'm taking my emotions and using them through an analytical lens because I don't let somebody else drag my head around like that. That's also a very important thing. to pay attention to, especially as anybody that is in any kind of spiritual practice. Like it's like a let go or be dragged is the best way I could say it. Yeah, I prefer to keep my unwritten knowledge with myself. That's fair. And you don't have to share your findings. I mean, more so like if you've read, any kind of psychology, or I think a lot of what comes up is like the body keeps the score. So just what your musings are, is kind of like like self-guided study. If we were in like a psychological book club and we shared our stuff after that. But yeah, I mean, there's so much I could say. A lot of what I started this live with was talking about, like, what do we do when we feel like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or like our world? Because even you guys that are on my left-hand side here, I have people here right now that are in India, also in the US. I have someone from Monaco, wherever else. I had someone coming from Afghanistan, from Pakistan, all of these countries that like we have, what we see about each other is so charged, I'll say, in the most simplistic terms. And this, to me, when I'm talking with a real person, even if, I don't actually know your real government name or whatever it is, like that energy means something. And having that curiosity about other humans, other people in other places in the world, and really practicing. I think the best way is like, it's good to have your boundaries, but we don't have to go onto the internet with our gloves on. And I think that a lot of these kinds of spaces, as people feel very perturbed, uneasy, insert your adjective here, about the way of the world, it's like, how do we use these portals and tools and places and spaces in a way that we can make sure that we know what we're participating in? We're not falling into our social media. We're not falling into and falling forward through our day. Everything has an intention and a purpose for how you really are going to be in charge of deciding what you do with your one singular life. The second I get any energy that I don't find enjoyable in my personal life, especially. Oh yeah, narcolepsy, yes. Oh no, I know. Hopefully back from the non-narcoleptics. What's the opposite of narcolepsy? Being awake? I don't actually know what the term is for that. Yeah. I just think a lot of the phrases, like not going into the internet with your gloves on, like patience is a virtue. Like having patience, because the more that you have patience, when you are impatient, you cheat yourself of the joy of the immediate moment. You are placing your joy outside of where you currently are. It's all those phrases, happiness is a destination. And if there's so much that's pulling you out of your grounding in the present moment that's making you unhappy, you really need to be radically honest with yourself about who's in your home. What can you start to do to change it? If you're, an adult especially, it's going to be a different set of circumstances than if you're a kid in a challenging situation. Asking yourself those kinds of questions, and where you can go to get the help from people in your life that you maybe thought just by association, like family or spouses or besties, people were going to give that to you. But for some reason, whether they know it or not, they've fallen short. And where is it that you can go to get your support, and not place the weight of that lack of support only on one person? It's like when you have, let's say, like a dad or a spouse that hasn't shown up for you in the way that you need it, that the weight of that relationship cannot be placed onto one other singular person. And I think a lot of people try to do a one-off swap. This is also what it talks about, like when I was talking just before about like understanding your heart. What you have to do is find pieces of the core essence of what you've been missing in that relationship in other places, right? And that's going to be different levels of intensity for different people who are dealing with that level of disconnection from their spirit, is what I'll say. Set of key steps to achieve prosperity in life, right? Yeah, absolutely. Diagram of a spaceship, exactly. It looks like, the Millennium Falcon? A little bit too. Yeah, embodiment is important. What's your energy and your body telling you? Exactly. And where is it coming from? Like I walked into a store maybe like a couple months ago actually now. And I immediately was like, the vibe was off. It was like right when you walked in, it was a clothing store, and right when you walked in, they had a couch there, and it was like somewhat like it was a small business. So there were people that knew each other as I walked into the store, like sitting there, that just kind of like stared when I walked in. And I don't know, I've always been very like aware of like, if this is my place and I'm welcoming people in, like I have that hospitality essence in me for many different reasons, but it's part of like how, you know, what I was trained in my career. And so I've always am like, hi, how are you? Like welcoming. And I was like, okay, immediately we can go into, what did I do? What's wrong with me? Where is this coming from? Who's doing this? Let me just leave, you know, whatever. Like that's what the old brain can do. But really it's like, okay, I always say like, whose shit is this? Like who's having the bad day? I know that I'm like always operate at a baseline of like calm, cool, and collected. I am a regulated person. So I know that if I'm ever off my regulation rocker, I have to identify like, where is that coming from? What is making me feel this way? Is it that am I intuiting something else that somebody else is feeling? And is it in this moment my responsibility to even walk somebody through that? Because especially when you are a spiritual practitioner, somebody who does this or is learning how to do it, you have to understand the time and the place to turn it on and off. If I am going to a clothing store and I start talking to somebody, because I always say like, I get in myself, people will tell me everything in line at the grocery store, you know, is this the time and place that I need to be available for this? Sometimes it is. I used to give it all the way for free all the time. Now, right, I've outgrown that. I've had those boundaries, right? To be able to discern like, okay, there's a time and place for this. If someone wants to connect with me in another way, thank you, Jenny, and I'll read your comments in a second, in another way, you know, outside of it, this is what I do for my profession. So I have to reserve those energies for the people that have already paid or are currently paying for my time, right? So when it comes to the business aspects of things, that's when you have to use your discernment for that too. Yeah, the lecture feels like a final exam of a degree. I'm happy to help. Hopefully it's helpful and not overwhelming. You're like, it feels like a final exam, but I didn't take this class. Yes, bonjour, Ferrari, exactly. Bonjour, hola. Hablo un poco español, sí. Oh, Brandon said, what can I focus on to commit to it? What are you trying to commit to would be my follow-up question. Like what, because there's different tools, different ways that you train your brain to lock into committing to something. What I was saying, and I don't know if you were in here for this, is that you can do anything you want, but you can't do everything that you want. Hola, Guatemala. And so discerning what it is that you want to do first, right? Like I say, for those of us who are manifesting generators, right, of which I know there are a few. Hi, Christina. Oh, it's nice to see you in a live. Hello. Those of you who are manifesting generators like me, you have to go like all in on one thing at this moment in this time. And then say, okay, within the layers of just saying, I'm going to go for human design, I promise you there are 85 other things within that one subject that you will find, right? And this is the conundrum, right? Like you're putting yourself, because of that, and you know it, Jenny, which is good, you've put yourself in analysis paralysis, where now you're like, I want to do everything, but I can't even commit to trying out one thing because I'm fearful of maybe failure. I'm fearful of maybe it not really going anywhere. Yeah, thank you. Maybe like figuring out why you're not allowing yourself to go there is important. And to know like life is hard. Like life is fucking hard. Like there are, and hard is so I hear people say that it's so challenging and so hard. I'm like, but what does that fucking mean? Like describe to me, paint me the picture for what hard means in this context, right? Hard as a manifesting generator is when you want to start your own business, but you have bills to pay and you still have to work, because I'm not going to be the person in this fucking economy to be like, quit your job, it's fine, you're fine. You know, it's like, that doesn't work well for 95% of people. That's what, you know, people trying to sell you $10,000 courses 10 years ago where no one was calling each other out yet. That's what that was used for, right? That's to capitalize on your dreamer. That's to capitalize on the delusion of thinking that you need to pay somebody $10,000 for 3 journal prompts about mindset. There are certain things that cost $10,000 that need to cost $10,000, but if it's somebody that's trying to get you on things that you can find on Pinterest or Instagram for free, like, I'm not that bitch. I'm never gonna be that bitch. So, you know, my whole philosophy on that is like really understanding what is the first thing that you can go in on. The hard of it as a manifesting generator is saying, okay, when I get home from work, I'm going to give myself an hour to do what I have to do, but I have to give a fuck about myself enough to know that I'm going to spend 30 minutes to do what I say that I'm going to do, that I keep bothering everybody else about by saying that I'm going to do it and I don't follow through. So therefore, there goes Brenna again, there goes Jenny again, there goes, you know, whoever again, saying that they're going to do something, and now I'm bored because you've said it 800 times and now you're not going to do it. You know, so it's like you have to shit or get off the pot, because there's 85 other people with half the intelligence but twice the amount of action. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That was one of the old football players, I don't even remember, said it, but it's true. Like, so it's like you can't get mad when somebody else takes a spot that you want when you haven't put in the work to be in that spot in the first place. You know, if you find yourself, if you're somebody that says like must be nice, shut the fuck up. Like, that really, like, you have to get yourself out of that. And I say it with love because, like, let me tell you instead of somebody else who's glad that you're not doing it because they want your spot. They're not going to tell you because they don't have the ability to understand that whatever it is that you want is available to you, because they are operating on the energy, also in spiritual spaces, by the way, that like, okay, good, Jenny's not going to do it, so it's one less person I have to cut through when I'm talking about human design, right? I don't operate that way, but there's a lot of people in this space that fucking do. And they're like, they want you to worship them. They want you to be in that role. There are people on these apps with 500,000 followers. And I know this for a fact because I met them in person and I have had the pleasure of reading for them, but the pleasure of also never being in their presence again, that are getting their entire scripts about full moon circles, new moon circles, anything that they call themselves, you know, under the umbrella of astrology, of spiritual, whatever these vocabulary words that they use in our space. And it's ChatGPT. They don't even know what, they're not even investing the time to sit with a download for 30 seconds and put in the effort to come up with an authentic piece of content for you on the internet. But they're very comfortable quoting you $15,000 for a program to teach you how to do it anyway. Because what I say all the time is that you have to really use your discernment to understand that you are not responsible as a sole person that's purchasing a product from somebody about paying into the dreams of what other people think. How do I word this? About what other people think that they are owed financially, right? There are people who go into spiritual businesses that say, well, the universe owes me $20,000. Now, how are all of you guys that follow me on the internet going to be responsible for giving me that? Right? And there's a difference between forcing people to owe me that and that level of entitled ego versus my energy and the time and energy that I put into this exchange actually has XYZ value. So there's a difference and a distinction, and it's learning that distinction between like, am I going to the internet with gloves on for that person because I feel some type of way that they're doing well and I'm not, so therefore I'll use that, oh well, they're just charging that because that's what they want, as an excuse? Or is it like they actually are a piece of shit? That's the distinction that we have to start making. I'll read your, I know I do curse, sorry guys, I know the younger ears. The younger ears, block your ears. But I'm on my passionate work soapbox, so I'm like, I need to, once I start going in, I'm like, this is my inner monologue. Like, I'm very passionate about this because I've just seen so many people get burned. I have had 3 people that have done mentorship with me that are ex members of the Jay Shetty certification cult. And they're like, I paid all this money, I learned nothing, because there's an entitlement and ego of what he thinks is owed to him. I don't like his energy. You know, he was good at the beginning a little bit. I appreciated, you know, but a broken clock is still right 2 times a day, right? And I think that's the type of discernment. It's like, okay, now you've gotten to this level, Jay Shetty, what are you actually doing to like be boots on the ground with your people or animals or the people that are actually hurting in the world? And I think that there is a level of like, again, full circle to what I said earlier, you cannot care about people's situations more than them, right? Dr. Ikonda, like, I will never care about your situation more than you. So I can help you, I can give you the tools, but I know that if I got on here tomorrow and I gave you all the rules, all the things that you needed to do to make your business tomorrow, people still wouldn't do it unless they give a shit about themselves enough to know that they should be willing to try. So, you know, but it's like, again, that's where it's a time and a place. I respect myself enough to know that like I go through my business a certain way because I'm a Pisces. I spent 10 years giving so much of myself out for free that like is not available anymore, you know? And so I see how many of you guys, and I know how many of you guys that are here right now that I've connected with in some way, shape, or form are either going through that process or have been through that process in some way. Hi, Deanna, how are you? Oh, spicy chicken, there you go. This is, I know, my code switching back and forth. This is my compartmentalization in real time. Yes, 47. That's so funny. 47. Okay, 47, 75. We'll look up for 75 too. Yeah. Listen, I'm very much so about like read the room. Like I just feel like, oh, excuse me. Like I've always had a level of discernment that I was like, how do these adults not know what I see right now? And I don't know why that is, but I know that it is my human duty to pass out as much of that information in the appropriate channels in a way that feels like I truly want to help people. And I don't want people to feel dependent on me in an unhealthy way. And that's what a lot of spiritual practitioners bank on, is like, let me keep you in my congregation of sorts. It's been amazing. I'm still on a high from the session. I'm so glad. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to send it to you tomorrow. Hi, Anima. How are you? I'm on my spiritual soapbox. We're talking about spirituality and false spiritual prophets, if you will. But yeah. Yeah, I'm in your head today. There you go. Usually that's always how it works. Thank you for the gifts too. You're also awesome. I was beating herself up for not being able to go gung-ho, and now I take small successful steps. Yeah, because it's like that burnout, like you have that propensity to work yourself up into a lather, and that is not a sustainable place to be in. Like if you're gonna be somebody that's there to support other people in some way, you can't do it from like that kind of like it's almost like manic place is the best way I can describe it. It's very frenetic. It feels very like there's a hive of bees inside of you. And so if you are, that's where, right, like knowing the North Star is important. Exactly. Like, am I here to just share musings and hope that it helps other people? But I have a little bit of a wall, and that's okay if that's your thing. But if you're like, I'm a spiritual practitioner who needs people to feel safe in my company, you're a fellow Scorpio stellium. Us as Scorpio stelliums, if I can tell that somebody cannot hold what I'm going through, I'm not going to book a session with them, right? It's like, what is their energy doing? Like, what is it sharing with me? And that doesn't mean that I don't value what they're saying, but it's like, I am already, as somebody who's surrendering to the process of getting a reading or being connected with a spiritual practitioner, I want to know that that person has got me. Especially for me, I am that person to every other fucking person. So if I'm paying you to invest in you, to be there for me, I don't give a fuck about what you've got going on. I'm sorry. If it's relevant in that moment to share, to make a connection and explaining why it's relevant to the other person, but it's like, you know, I don't want to, and that's, again, knowing a time and a place. But if you are the person that sees yourself like feeling like you're going into a lot about your stories, that's fine, but then that's for social media, and you have a comment section and you can figure out how to get paid by the platforms or brand deals about journaling and ashwagandha, you know, like, but, and it's not that it's wrong. It's just like knowing about what the end goal is so that you can channel your energy into that end goal. Right? But it's like the people that are like crying on the internet, like that's valid and it's okay, but it's not going to put you in a position where people feel comfortable coming to you in a session unless that session is around surrendering and we cry together and it's like camaraderie and maybe it's helping with our like it's all about the Joy. It's all about the time and place. It's the best thing that I can say, and understanding like what that looks like, because it's like it resonates on a frequency that we have to understand, like why people are booking with you or aren't booking with you, or are connecting with you where they aren't connecting with you in that kind of way. And listen, Sagittarius, it's expansive, it takes up space. Luminary, Cancer, Leo, it's big, it takes up space. Capricorn rising, Aquarius rising, it's stern. There are things that I'm saying right now that people are like, damn, like that hurts my feelings, but I got you. Like I'm like the tough love mom, right? Like, and there are times in my life where I felt like I had to overcompensate in my Pisces and not be that way, but that got us both fucking nowhere, you know? Like, again, time and place for the people that need that. For my people in work and business who are struggling, and I'm like, I want this for you, but I can't want it more than you do. I got my own shit to worry about. Like that's the real shit that we need to be talking about right now. Spiritual, I'm broken. No, you're not broken, Eddie. You're having a tough moment, but I am totally positive, without a shadow of a doubt, that you will be okay. Gotta go. Bye, Eloise. I hope you feel better. I'm glad you gave yourself some time off. Apparently my forefathers from a long time ago age were religious priests and stuff. That's so interesting. Well, I feel like, Connor, that's also where you get your mindset from. You're very, you're analytical, but also very like I would describe your energy as stoic and somewhat reserved. Yeah, I'm very kind. Not that I'm very kind, although I am. So animals die. That's why I don't eat non-veg. I understand, but it kind of seems gross to me now. So if I ever will, it'll be a hard time. Your body also changes, right? Like I had a friend who was vegetarian and she got really sick when she started eating meat again because her body just wasn't used to digesting those proteins. But Gemini, yes, Gemini, you're the drama mask. So it's like people know what they're never, like they don't really know what they're gonna get. But if they know that that is a trait that you have, then they're never caught off guard. My father-in-law is a Gemini and he's always busy doing something, but I know that he's that way. So I don't make him feel like there's something wrong with him for always wanting to keep his hands busy. If he's doing good things, he's not getting himself into anything, in trouble, which he doesn't. That's just who he is. But I have radical acceptance for when people show me who they are, I believe them. But I will help them change if there's something that they have come to me, they have paid me, they have talked to me about being really like, they're down with the shit to like, tell me that they really want the change. Or these moments where I'm like, if somebody's saying something, I'm like, this is my on time. I'm a social introvert. This is my time to be social, answer people's questions. But like, if you're sharing something, I'm going to respond to it. Other than that, if you don't want me to comment on it, like, why are we having a conversation? I got the tools. I just need to see which ones are correct to use. Exactly. You're probably a generator, a manifesting generator like me. Let me see. Yeah, micro doses of visibility. I love that. That's how I've been handling the spaces for my aqua moon. Yes, it's aqua moon today as well. And the better I surrender to my capacities, I've seen my clients. Absolutely. It's your tough love that has me making money regular now. I love that. Wait, I'm screenshotting that. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, especially with understanding how vulnerable MGs are to burnout. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, it's Gemini 10th house. I'm so sad that people think I'd be so all over the place in my personal life. Yeah, it's like a time and a place, right? Like there's a version of you that your clients get, but also that's not like 10th house is like who we are for the world, right? It's our horizon line goes like this. The 10th house is how others see us, right? So it's any planets, anything up there. My fucking moon is up there. If I don't like something, you guys are gonna know it, right? Like, you're gonna see it. My sun, though, who I am, is below the horizon. Pisces sun, second house. I need to be, like, if you like me now, it's because I don't talk to people all day long. When I'm on, I'm here, I'm present. That's why people think that, like, because I'm so dialed in right now, I respectfully, I'm not a DM person. If you want to talk to me and have a conversation about a bunch of different things, I have pop call. It's $1 a message. Love y'all. Let's talk there. But it's because I know my boundaries and what makes me who I am and being able to pour out from my overflow. But that fucking overflow needs to come from somewhere, right? Like, and it's because I allow myself to say, like, all right, I need a break. I need to chill out. Where can I go to relax? That's the strategy part. Like, I know who I am spiritually. I have that self-awareness. So, like, yeah, write it down 100%. I have that awareness to be like, I need a break. But, like, I'm not, like, this is my time for us to hang out, right? But if you're gonna talk to me, it's like, it's gonna go in a session. I have a husband, I have family. My husband's family is in Cuba, so that has its own emotional weight to it. Not my in-laws and my sister-in-laws, but, you know, like, I got shit going on, right? Just because I wear it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy too. So it's like, if I'm going to be on in the way that I have to be on, that's important. That means something. And if you guys are trying to do the same thing that I do and be successful at it, it comes at the cost of other people that may have a problem with that. And I'm like, okay, then you're not my person who's mentally, energetically capable of us. We're not a match then. And that's okay. I'm not afraid of losing you. If we need to connect and we want to come around the corner and it works out again 10 years down the road, I'm here, I'm all for it. But I value honesty, transparency, you know, and an acknowledgement and having that mutual respect for each other. Hi, Shelly. Yeah, self-care and boundaries 100%. And I think that's where it's like, as spiritual practitioners, there's a lot of people who feel like, you know, you owe them a free ride. I do my best to answer. Thank you. That's so cute, the maracas. I do my best to answer every single person. I post once a day. If people can't even take the clip on screen, the 3 sentences, the tip that I give as many people as I can in the comments, while also being responsible for everybody else that I meet 5-6 days a week. Like, you know, whatever you're not getting from other people in your life, I'm sorry that for me on the internet, I can't give that to you. I'm open, I'm available for it, but it comes in these funnels or these channels in a way that my energy is available. So that's why, you know, we need to have those boundaries. And listen, again, for those of you that are just tuning in, Pisces sun here, right? Like, I've learned it the hard way, so you don't have to. Or if you're like, oh, only take 10% of the aggression that I have in my Northeast New Yorker energy, like, I've done my job. Let me be extreme so I can pour over, and if you guys walk away with 10% of what I've taught you today, I'm happy with that. I don't, exactly, Brenna got bread to make, exactly. It's so funny because I actually was gonna make bread today as well. Cancer rising, yes. I get a lot of luminaries, I get a lot of Libras, Cancer risings, Leo placements, Sagittarius, my mutables, some Gemini, yeah, and my Capricorn, I'm Aquarius rising, so that energy too. Yeah, I have many paths and I need to see which ones are good ones, but now I'm working on, is the fog that stops me. Deanna, are you still here? The word fog has been so prevalent for everybody. It's like we're walking through a fog, and I was saying this a couple months ago with the Neptune Saturn conjunction in Aries. We are all in a fog right now. If you try to run through that fog, that's how you know that you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of tripping off a guardrail and falling down the side of a mountain. But if you focus on being where your feet are and really listening to yourself and trusting yourself, that's how you're gonna get to the places that you need to go. But you need to be, what can I do with the time in front of me, with what I have today? I want you guys to think about something that you can do for 5 minutes today that's going to get you where you need to go. Aquarius moon today. A lot of the Aquarius moon, also conjunct our Pluto, is like, what can we do for 5 minutes that logically is getting us in the direction that we want to go? If you want to start filming content in your office downstairs like I am right now, does your desk have shit on it? Clean off your desk for 5 minutes. That's a step in the right direction. Tomorrow you can put aside the outfit that you want to wear when you want to do the content. Yeah, exactly, Deanna. Then, you know, the third day you can film. But the problem is that people are like, I'm gonna film, let me plan all these different outfits, I'm gonna batch film 30 videos when you don't even film one. Like, that's the way to burn yourself out really quickly. Like, there is literally an electric fly swatter in my home. There you go. Oh my God. You need it. Swat the flies. The system feels pretty biased and just primitive. Yeah. Literally, I wrote 2 paragraphs and they got censored. No. Which, like the general system of the world. This is why I like to see you live, Brenda, because you have boundaries and being real. I respect you always, Chica. Thank you, Chico. I like that that's our nickname for each other. Thank you. Yes, microdose. It's 100%. Well, microdose tasking. I don't know. Can I say that out loud? I know we have to say gardening. I don't know if I can say that. Yeah, it seems like I am that way with my Aries sun wants to go. Yeah, and it's like the tripping over yourself, right? And now you have Neptune, which is creating this fog around your sun. So it's like you not being able to see the forest through the trees. It was so funny, like the second that Jupiter, because I have Cancer in the 6th house, so it's like my daily routines. The second that Jupiter went direct in my 6th house, I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing every day. But every day up until then, it was such a fucking struggle to like, what am I gonna do? Like, how, okay, like I know what I need to get done, but I was like, okay, like it's the winter, it's dark at 5 o'clock. I have like 12 hours of shit to do and to organize. Like, I need to just figure out what am I gonna do with 12 minutes right now. And then I can figure out, before you know it, we blink and the 12 hours have gone by and I've gotten done what I need to get done. But I have those, I'm aware enough of my energy, even outside of the transits, to intuit, like, this is just going to be a slower period for me. And it's good that I slow down with the seasons, especially if you have a gate 5 in your human design body graph, like I do. So helpful for that. That's what yeah, it's fog. Yeah, the system more decides which living being is more life. The system decides which living being is more life. Like, Connor, you mean like the system decides like who, the system being what? Like the powers that be that are also humans, or like the like energetic systems decide who has more life? I think it's like, that's what I go back to, self-belief. Like, truly, it's corny, but it's true. If you believe in yourself, like, nobody can take that away from you. I cannot tell you, like, I know if shit went south tomorrow, like, I've got me at the end of the day. Like, what are the tools that I need to be able to say, like, okay, like, I've got me. You know, what do I have in my house? What's available to me? Like, if I didn't have technology, what would I do? Like, it's planning just enough. I have to do this little puzzle. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Hi, Amy. Welcome. Again, I trust myself, because if I don't have the resources, I know where to go or who I can go to that I trust over my lifetime, people I've developed relationships with, to know where I have to go. Who I vent up to, who I connect with that makes me feel good, that also pours back into me so I can pour out my overflow domino effect in a positive way. On CoStar, it says you have the potential to be a good, as good or better than the mall. I love that. Crazy confirmation. Yes, Jupiter direct is also amazing. Yes, your 12th house. Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like because 12th house is your hidden enemies, where your 7th house can be your like obvious ops, which I think is really interesting. So when we're looking, Jenny, when we were talking about, you were like, I wish I was better at the houses. Your rising sign is when we're looking at whole sign, your rising sign, I'm trying to think, like, let's say your rising sign is always going to be on the left-hand side. I think this is the left. I forget if it's like flip-flops. The left-hand side, it's the constellation that was coming up over the horizon, the skyline, at the time you were born. If you use Placidus, it's based on the degree. So every one of the 12th houses is 0 to 29 degrees. So 30 degrees, because we count 0 as an actual degree. The interesting part is that us Gemini got to deal with double standards to clear the view. Yes, exactly. I love that you have that self-awareness, the view towards seeing the path I feel I want to follow. When mosquitoes die, nobody give. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, no, when mosquitoes die, nobody gave a shit, even if thousands gave a fuck. Yeah, I think when mosquitoes are dying by the thousands, right? I would also ask, like, what is the country, what's the area of the world where those mosquitoes are dying, and are those people also starving? Like, it's like, how can somebody care about thousands of mosquitoes dying when they can't feed their children? Or they're, like, they don't have the ability to work, they're bound to a wheelchair. It's like, everyone has just because people don't lead with their issues doesn't mean that, they have a responsibility or they're choosing not to care. I think it's relevant to people's circumstances. That's why it's like when people ask like certain people, like, what are you doing about this? Like, I had somebody on YouTube ask me why I wasn't, protesting. And I'm like, my grandmother-in-law just fell. My husband's grandparents are still in a third world country in Cuba that don't know where their next meal is going to come from. I'm probably never going to meet them. We're probably never going to be able to go there when they pass away, which is they're older, right? Like in a country that is malnourished, right? Hi, Carol. So, to name one of the things, as you guys that have been here for a while know the lore of my last year with my family and all those kinds of things. But if you care about that, Connor, right, that is your opportunity or your gift to say, hey, nobody cares about this. Maybe I should be the one that should be the advocate for this, that should figure out how to make people care, right? Because it's important to you. But again, no one's going to care about what you care about as much as you. When I say no one's going to care about your situation as much as you, hi, Faisal, that's part of that. Yes, TJ, on Sundays or Saturday, excuse me, it's my horizontal stream. Vertical streams are the other 5 days a week. Oh, okay, I understand. Definitely not. I don't know. I mean, I also think that's an ethical, moral question for you about, and then Eddie, I'll go back and answer your comments, and Shelly, you too. That's an ethical question for you about, like, that's like a philosophy that comes out of Jainism. They see like an ant that's an ant, and honoring the life of an ant is just as valuable as a human life to them. So that's more so like, where do your individual morals lie? Where do your own individual ethics lie in feeling that way? Are you somebody that wants to walk around like Jains do with a light little, it's like a more extreme version of Buddhism with what is it? Like a broom. Yeah. Oh, I can't even, so when I'm using this stream, I can't even go to hide, like it doesn't even show me the option to reveal any chats. Yeah. I'm sorry. Eddie, if I can fix myself, how can I contribute to being a human being? So if you are still in the process of fixing yourself, I don't even want you to worry about being a better human being in the world, because by you caring enough about yourself to know that you are also one of the people in the world that needs healing, you're already making the world a better place, because you know enough to have that self-awareness to know that I know that everyone wants me to help everybody else, but I need me right now. And you may not have people in your life that are coming to save you. Maybe your parents, even if they mean well, don't have the capacity to give you what you need. So part of it is knowing, like, what do I have to do to sit with that pain, to heal that wound or wounds, maybe it's multiple, and be able to say, like, I know that I need that. Where can I find it? Because it's not in the sources that I have been told by the world we're going to provide that for me. Your parents, your school, teachers, whatever. And I think that there's a lot of people who are realizing, like, how the people in their lives had let them down, whether intentionally or unintentionally. When I meant the world, I meant nature-wise. Oh, like actual for like animals and like animals and the what is it? Ecology? Is that the right word? Let me go back here for a second. Yeah, Shelly said, sometimes I think we have so much to deal with that no one can see. Absolutely. It's like, that's why I have the disposition that I do. Like I lead with an open heart, but I also am not somebody that I don't have to go around explaining my problems to other people. I'm okay with people misunderstanding me, you know, or people who will say like the age old thing is like, you shouldn't charge for this, you know, you shouldn't like what you should do all this for free. And I'm like, that's great. We also don't live in a world where I get things for free. My mortgage isn't free, right? Rent isn't free. My car isn't free. Food isn't free, arguably, right? Like there are things that, with the way that the world is right now, this is the way the cookie crumbles for all of us, right? If it changes one day, I'll adjust my sales as well. But it's like, just because you don't want to pay for it or you don't find the value doesn't mean that I have to be the one to give it to you for free. I give enough for free in my content. I'm good, right? Read my like, say if a parent God, all living beings would be equal to him, right? Or only one intelligent ones who can worship him are. Also, did she go to complete her data prepare for? Oh no, no, I think she was going to her. I don't know, something about the noise. I didn't really understand actually. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, there's a great mutual follower of mine named Neff, who's a reflector in human design, and he's Canadian, and a lot of what he does is going around in nature, Eddie, and he'll just pick up garbage that's like on the street because nobody else is doing it. It bothers him. You know, he wants the animals in his area to not get sick on garbage, you know, not have more of the trash just lying around. So that's a way that, you know, when maybe you bring a plastic shopping bag and a pair of gloves with you as you're walking around LA and just pick up garbage, you know, thank you. And that's part of how you benefit the world around you, you know. But it's like, that's what I mean by blooming where you're planted. It doesn't have to be that, you know, you don't have to overextend yourself. It's like in the way that you can. Maybe it's like just giving the power of your thoughts and intention, and like sending love to somebody that you saw in a rough spot, you know. Like, what does that look like? It's relative to the person, and assessing like, am I actually capable of doing these things? I found more free content from creators to help me heal for free than anyone could watch. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, A. Yeah, it's like our, yeah, I think it's like, you know, knowing the resources, but also like there's always going to be people who want to get things for free, and that's fine, but also the people who value the investment in one-on-one connection, you know, and that's relative to the individual, you know, like what their bank accounts can't afford, you know. But it's like, at this point in time, nobody should be putting themselves out if they are not going to get a return on their investment. Thank you, Mo. Hello. Aw, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm happy to present it in a peaceful way. I appreciate that. I really enjoy content like this, especially when it's presented by someone with such a peaceful personality. But life is too short to do anything, let alone find and work for a purpose till it reaches its final goal. Life is too short to do anything? I mean, I disagree. I think that you know, life can go fast, but I don't think that, you know, you don't have to be the next Bill Gates or Siddharth Tiwari for your life to be valid. That was his path. It doesn't have to be yours, and it doesn't mean that just because your paths are different that they're invalid, if I'm understanding you correctly. Could you give a short introduction on what your content is about, or maybe which video I should start with? So I am in the process of doing some different kind of content changes, but essentially I'm changing more of my content to be about mindset, under, you know, self-trust, learning how to trust yourself, advocate for yourself, confidence, because those are the questions that I actually get asked the most. And then also about if you want to do self-employment or use these spiritual tools, figuring out your life purpose, things along those lines. So if you have any questions about that or any videos you want me to make, let me know. But honestly, me just being on live, I'm live every day during the week besides Friday and Sunday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just talking to people and being open-minded. You would be amazed how much that changes the frequency of a room. Like, vastly underestimated in today's society. Angels, back to you. I love that. Yeah, I do love coaching too. Yeah, you should be able to make a living. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like figuring out, Nicole, I see you. I'm going to pivot to Nicole's reading in a moment. knowing what role you fit in that process is important. Let's see. I believe to do so, I gotta know myself first, who I am and what my role is. Absolutely. And it's like, don't put so much pressure. Like, maybe it's like my role is like, I'm just gonna be an open-minded person today. Yeah, I believe life is based on living for today. Question is, what choices would one choose to and how to live? Absolutely. And you have that at any given moment in time. Oh yeah, I don't know. Okay, so we are at the 1 hour and we'll be at like the 10-minute mark. I'll start in a few seconds, Nicole, because your question is more so broad, so I'll leave the general chart up on the screen, but I'll start in 30 seconds here. And then we'll go from there. There's a couple things in your question that strike me. And if anyone wants to book, I'll be on for about another 40 minutes. So I have like 3 spots left after Nicole. And then before I forget, my hi Bo, thank you. My Astrology of Human Design class is a separate class. So if you guys want to get on the wait list for that for when I announce it, you have to fill out the Google form. It's going to be 50% off for members of my Patreon that have been members for 3 paid months already consecutively. You're currently enrolled, your information is up to date. But if you want that information via email, check spam. That will be the place that you have to look for it. Okay, so Nicole, you know, okay, well, Nicole, give me a thumbs up just so that I know that you're here, because I don't want to start in true Mercury retrograde fashion actually before you're ready. Yeah. We're so astronomically small in the world. I don't think anybody gives a fuck for us and it means anything. Well, this is the thing. I'm still here and I'm still alive and I have to suffer like the rest of you fools, okay? So if I have to do that, I don't suffer fools gladly. So I am at least going to enjoy my experience and make as much as a positive change, or, you know, hopefully influence people in a positive way. But if I'm not influencing people in a positive way, all right, fuck them. Like, then they're not my people. But like, I value, at least, even if it doesn't mean anything, I know that I'm here and I'm gonna make it enjoyable in some way possible, even if just for myself, because I have enough like love for myself to know that that's what I want for me, that I deserve that, because that's a desire that I have and a value that I have. But if you don't feel that way, that's cool too, you know. But it's like, it just depends on, again, your circumstance for your life is what you make it, you know. It's what you do with the hand that you're dealt and what you want to do with your life. But I know that right now, how I live my life is how I want to live my life, and I enjoy it. And if that ever changes, and you know, I'll go with the flow. But I don't act the way that I act because of how I think I may or may not be rewarded for it later. I just feel this urge to act the way that I do and be a presence in some way, and here I am, you know. But I don't like spend so much time spiraling. It's like, is this gonna matter? What is the point, you know? It's like, this just is what makes me feel good, so I'm gonna do it, and it's not destructive. Okay, Nicole, but yes, all right, so we are at 1 hour and 12 minutes and 22 seconds here. So tips, well, let me go to your question. Tips for recognizing if I'm truly tired or just overwhelmed. They feel the same sometimes. I love doing all the things, but I want to know the too much signs. So here's a couple things, and this isn't the direction that you're gonna expect me to start off in, but I think that it's important because ever since you said it to me, it has stuck with me in a way that I think also is relevant to this. And it was a variation of saying, without putting all your business out there, how like something to the effect of like, oh, but men don't think about thanking you for the things that you do around the house, right? And that is not necessarily true. I know from personal experience with my husband. My husband and I say thank you to each other multiple times a day. I don't necessarily think that that's your exact situation in the way that it may come across in this moment. Mercury retrograde, dotting my I's, crossing my T's here. But I also question, that leads me to question that there's some feeling about maybe there being a lack of support that you need inside of the home in some way, even if it's not intentional and not malicious in nature. I would understand or start to understand what are the things that you can do anything that you want, but you can't get everything done, especially not in a day, right? That seems to be the theme of the day. And so when you're looking at the day in front of you and the things that you want to accomplish, you have to figure that something's got to give. There are some days, like yesterday, where my day was really busy. I was traveling. I went out to dinner with one of my friends that was going to go back to the Carolinas today. And I am okay with the dishwasher not being emptied, right? And also my husband having a long work week. And I'm like, I don't want him to do that either. I want him to relax. I want him to hang out with his friends and enjoy his time as well, right? So you have to pick and choose your battles. And I think a lot of the exhaustion piece can also come from perfectionism. I've been thinking about this the last couple days and how like an object in motion stays in motion. And whenever you're trying to add on something new or change your routine, that comes with the change in your day. Even if it's something just as simple as like, I'm going to work out in the morning time, and how that changes then the time that you get ready and the time that you can start to get to work, and you know how the dog's getting fed plays into that new change in routine. And I would also encourage you to not try to change too much at one time. And also what I want to say, yeah, self-expectations, exactly. Like, where is there maybe, the word I want to say is like small resentment. I don't think of you as somebody who lives in a state of resentment, but it's like, oh, they should just know that that's what you're supposed to do. But like, I know that if I have something that like I believe should be done, I only have to ask my husband one time to do it, and he's the person that's proactive, that knows that that's important to me, so he has that that he will fulfill that expectation, and vice versa. Maybe not all the time, or he's like, okay, but it's also like I value him as an individual that also has his own version of priorities. So figuring out, that level of communication in your relationship, I also think is important. I think when it comes to, to your point, or for your words, like with self-expectations, I would think about like, what are the top 3 things that you get done? And truly, honestly, the difference between writing down your ideal day and the reality of how you actually enjoy and value living your life. I value my peace. I value my private time. I value my groundedness throughout my day. I value my sense of urgency. I value my sense of discipline, right? So I figure out how to incorporate those things in my life without running myself ragged. No matter what time I wake up, my first hour is spent having my coffee and enjoying either something on TV, maybe I'm watching a video on my phone, maybe I'm reading, maybe I'm doing a crossword puzzle. My first hour of the day is based on nobody else but myself, because I know that I need that to wake up into the world. I may write down that it's like, okay, 6:30 to 7 o'clock for that half hour, I'm going to be able to get that's the timeline that I'm only allowing myself to get that level of nourishment. But I know that historically throughout my life, when I look at the reality of when I feel most peaceful, it's always when I allow myself to have that hour. So really looking and kind of taking yourself out of the fog and understanding like what is truly the way that you live your life in the best way, and how does the lifestyle of your how does the lifestyle that you want, or the things that you want to do, fit into that in this season of your life is also important. Hello guys. I'm doing a paid reading. Hi Donis, thank you. Right now. So that's why I'm looking over to the left-hand side for those of you who are tuning in on TikTok. Being an adult in America, especially right now, means that you have to do things a little bit tired. But I know that like every day I set my timer on my phone for a half hour. I put my headphones on, maybe I put music on the radio, whatever. And yeah, and for me, like you don't get Me, unless I've rested, truly. Like, I need to be like, I'm in bed I drink my coffee in bed, right? I'm in that kind of Zen zone because that's what's important to me. So you don't get any brownie points for doing things the hard way, right? Like, that's like, I always say, like, when people have like do like the GLP-1 like injectables, I like the mental health aspect and benefits of me working out and doing physical exercise. So if I want to lose weight, like, exercising is obviously the way that it's calories in, calories out. That's the way to do that. But I don't look down on people who take a GLP-1 because that's the way that they want to lose weight. You know, I don't get any brownie points, or it doesn't matter, you know, like what way we do it if we have the same goal, right? So you don't get any brownie points for running yourself ragged. And I think it's a lot like because of our intergenerational relationship, for your generation especially, right? It's like you are only valued if you are exhaust yourself physically, when like if you can get the same amount of things done in a shorter period of time, good. Like, sit and rest. And I think it also comes with, like, you know, previous relationships, what other people's expectations are of you. I was reading this Reddit compilation about like what's one thing that you were shocked that other people do that you know, changed your perspective on life. And there was a guy that said, oh, my wife's family would just leave the pan in the sink overnight to soak so that you could scrub. Hi, Susel. So that you could scrub it. Yes, please use that. So that he how do I word that? The story was that his wife's family would let the pans with like stuff caked on the bottom soak overnight, where he was raised where like, no, it's not getting clean enough because you're not trying hard enough. And it's like, well, you don't get any more brownie points, but who cares if the pot is in the sink overnight? Like, and those are the things that truly exhaust us, especially as women that take care of a home. That, like, I value a clean home, so like I make cleaning my house an enjoyable experience for myself. But that also is a trade-off of like, my husband takes out the garbage, right? Like, he is responsible for if we put up like decorations, like he's the one that I help pick them up, I help go to the store and buy them, but he's the one that helps clean up those things outside and does like more of like the manual labor type stuff, right? That's why my hands look like this. Like, you know, like that's the trade-off. Like, a true partnership too also plays a role in your level of allowing yourself to rest and exhaustion, and like what are the expectations that you have because of what society told you versus only worth something if you're productive. Absolutely. I'm productive, but I see rest as a task that I also have to accomplish during the day. I was not always like that, but I see rest as something that I have to prioritize in order for me to make sure. I work 12 hours a day, but I take like an hour for lunch. I may still be writing things down. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes like my schedule has shifted. Like, I'll go on YouTube Live. I'm still on in some capacity. Maybe I'll take a half hour after that. Like, my schedule shifts kind of based on the seasons or the year, the seasons of the life, whatever my things are that I like to do. But I'm still also productive, you know, but it's like, that's our issues with 9 to 5 right now too, right? Is that like, we go to an office, right? People who go into an office, you go in an office for 8 hours a day to do 3 hours worth of work that you could have done in your pajamas on your couch, just as valid if you're working on a computer. You know, it makes no difference, on camera, off camera, with makeup, off makeup. So it's all about like, when you have the luxury, like you do in your situation, Nicole, to be where you are and work from your home and grow your business. Like, I think also comes with like, kind of realizing like there are people, like I had someone the other day on YouTube was like, oh my gosh, like you don't have like dirt floors. And I was like, there are people who live in places in the world still that have access to the internet where they don't have floors like we do in America. You know what I mean? Like, the reality of the situation of like, enjoying, and it's an act of gratitude to rest when you live in a place that's peaceful, to honor the fact that you actually do have peace. Because I also know for you that you have had a lot of periods in your life where it was not very peaceful. So don't run on the same adrenaline that kept you in survival mode, where you don't have to be in that level of survival mode still. Like, if you're going after what you want to go after, you should make it a peaceful experience for yourself. You don't want to create your businesses or your new life or investing in your new marriage in a way that is based on and old outdated software, you know? So I would question in the last minute that I have with you, do you truly love to do all the things? And is it more enjoyable when you don't have to do all the things every day? Like I work out, you know, I'll lift weights every other day. I like lifting weights. It makes me feel good to do 15, 20 minutes of weightlifting, but I don't burn myself out by making myself believe that I have to do it every single day, because then it becomes a chore. And I want it to always make me feel good and strong and empowered, and like I've done something to honor my physical vessel, you know, that gives me the ability to drive and do things and see and walk and, you know, sit in front of you and yap and make a positive change for 2 hours in the world. Yeah, trying to regulate. And I think like what the thing that I always go back to, Nicole, is like, I think that understanding, like, you don't have to fix a problem that's not actually there. Like I think Libras a lot of the time have the disposition to future trip a lot and try to figure out you try to get in front of things, and those things sometimes, probably 90% of the time, don't necessarily happen, and you burn yourself out in real time. So the time you spent thinking about doing the thing actually exhausts you when you can say 1, 2, 3, go, and get 5 minutes of that same kind of task done. I would watch out for that. And I think that, you know, part of the nervous system regulation is that if you're in a period where you realize that you need to rest more, you say, okay, my body is replenishing the low battery for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months, so that I am actually able to pour out from an overflow, not a deficit, 6 months from now or whatever. Maybe it doesn't have to have a time associated with it, but it's like, if your bills are paid, you're doing what makes you feel good, you know, you have that kind of structure. Like, don't sabotage something because you feel like you have to make yourself suffer. It's like Irish Catholic guilt. Like, we have to suffer. That's what when people are like, are you religious? I'm like, a lot of religion and people that enforce religion on others or are very dogmatic about it are the ones that have the belief that, like, we're supposed to suffer on earth to make it valid, and suffer, that the definition of suffering is relative. You know, it's like, I like listening to music. I'm never going to subscribe to a religion that thinks that music is bad. You know, I don't think that I'm going to hell because I like to listen to lo-fi while I'm on live with you guys. That's my choice. That's my belief, right? But I think it's like, not, same thing, you know, that we were just saying before. You don't get any extra, you don't get any extra brownie points for suffering. You know, no, I think it's like, we all feel, it's like the powers of life enough. There's enough things that can come down the line that make you suffer. Death of a loved one, loss of a job, losing a limb, losing your eyesight. Like, there's so many things that could come down the pipeline. Don't manufacture your own suffering because you feel like that's somehow makes you more valid, you know. But part of life too, second fold to your question, is like, you're allowed to be tired. And when I get tired, like, that's why I stopped doing lives at night. If that means I get dinged by these apps, or, you know, I lose some people along the way because I don't go live at night when I'm tired, okay, they're not getting the best version of me anyway, right? Like, I'm not going to be there. I'm okay to take that risk because the reward of me feeling rested and listening to my body is way greater. Because I do this from pouring out from my overflow, not from having to prove to an app or other people, you know, I'm pouring out of my deficit to prove some another metric outside of myself. And that's where the self-trust also comes back in. So yeah, but I think I would make your next, if I could give you any homework assignment, it would be to add in rest on your to-do list. Takes what, 15 minutes to cook a meal. That's not super complicated. I think it takes about 15 minutes to eat a meal, you know, 30 minutes for lunch. All said and done, maybe 45 minutes to just digest and, you know, recoup. Give yourself a 45-minute lunch break in the middle of the day, or something that allows you to just be intentional, and then say, okay, I can value and prioritize my rest more, where after that 45 minutes, even if I'm a little tired, I'm going to get up for another 45 minutes and then go do something, go work on something along those lines. So thank you for your question, and I hope that helps. I know it will, but because I've been there, but, you know, allowing yourself to just give yourself the gift of rest is important. Permission. Yeah, Deanna, exactly. Especially as a young mom, you know, like, you're doing a lot of things, Deanna, alone. So it's like, you know, this is mom's time. Mom also needs this separate from everybody else. Like those are good things to instill, in leading by example. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad I could affirm that for you, Nicole. Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. I think maybe I missed a couple things. There we go. I love that. No points for new heart. Yes. Susel, I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I'm reading for Nicole over on YouTube, so that was what I was paying attention to. There's no definition of positive, right? Like drugs are a positive for a lot of people. Yeah, I think it's like whatever makes somebody happy. Like I don't value an altered state. Like I'm not somebody who enjoys being under the influence of anything personally, because I don't know, life, I treat life enough like a game every single day, truly. So it's like, to me, this is all like, how do I up level? What's my strategy? You know, so it's like I don't that's not the way that I find relief in the world. For a lot of people it is, but I agree. It's like our happiness and what we see as positive and what we define as positive for ourselves is different for everybody. I agree. Have you ever met a Satanist? I've never, but I've heard they're growing. No, I don't think so. Not like knowingly, maybe. I used to work in arts and music management in New York City, so probably. But that's been along for a while. I think popularity's in the 60s and then flowed, but it's like any religion, belief system, everything, what do they say? History doesn't repeat, it rhymes. So everything has a cycle. I believe, Brenda, that we have to balance what we have in life. Absolutely. It may not be 100% of making me good choices, but for sure I follow the Trinity, mind, body, and spirit. I love that. I love that. What topic is going on today? We were talking about a spiritual strategy. So Nicole had booked a reading with me to talk about like knowing what to do when you're tired. A lot of what I talk about professionally and what has cross-pollinated into our lives in the afternoons during the week on YouTube is like self-trust, self-confidence, mindset. I think, Ak, you were in a couple of the lives where I was talking about like people are asking me like, how do I keep a positive mindset? And this is part of the levels of that. So, but yeah, I've been thinking about Pisces energy gives great level up advice. It's true. We also have like, I feel like as a Pisces, we explain things in a very colorful way. Like I always explain things when I'm trying to teach other people what I'm talking about in a way that gives you guys a good visual. Like how can you really like also see, like if you're here and I'm across from you, this is the visual that we can both see in our mind's eye talking about that same thing. You know, I'm very big on giving people a tangible, like how can you walk away from this with something that you can do. I'll be on for another like 20 minutes. I need to give my voice a rest because I was talking a lot yesterday, so I can feel that my voice is getting a little hoarse. And get more water. But about 20 more minutes, Connor. But yeah, and I also like, as a Pisces, I feel like I've been 408 years old my whole life. Like I just, Nini was asking me, I don't know, Nini, if you're still here, last time I was live, about if I know when someone comes to me with a problem, if I know that they were the person that was responsible, even if they don't believe that they were responsible or words to that effect, and I do. You can always tell. And you can always tell if somebody knows it or not, like if they have that level of self-awareness, for me at least. Yes, I can enjoy. Sleep well. Speaking of balance, I gotta go. Yes. Aw, thank you. Of course, Eddie. I'll see you guys on Monday as well. So I'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Not on TikTok, but only on YouTube for those of you that are joining me from one side or the other. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, drop them in the chat right now. I'm actually going to go upstairs and just grab some more water, and I'll be on for another 20 minutes. I think I have one spot left if somebody wants to book a reading too, but I'm happy to chat in the interim. Good night, Connor. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, bye, Eddie. Okay. Alrighty, so since no one had any other questions at the moment, I will head out in a second. I'll give everyone another moment or two. Any comments, questions, curiosities? What do we have going on? What's today? Yeah, Friday the 13th. Tomorrow we have Mercury conjunct Mars. Yeah, 10 degrees. Of Pisces, gate 37. Yeah, not letting your family and friends derail you. That's for sure. Or no, I'll be back on Monday. I won't be back on tomorrow's Sunday. Today felt like Sunday. I don't know. Time is so weird. I'll be back on again Monday at 1 o'clock on YouTube only. But yeah, I'll be posting my energy of the day tonight as well for you guys. My usual regularly scheduled programming. And then I'll be live again on YouTube again on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for clarity's sake. I'm meeting with a couple of you for intuitive readings. I'm excited to share that with a few of you guys that are a part of Patreon. That'll be exciting. Hi, Afro. I'm in my last few minutes. Hello and goodbye. I was signing off for the evening, but bye, Connor. I'll see you next time. But if you have any questions, let me know in the last few minutes that I'm here, and I'm happy to pour into you for a little bit. Since you just joined us, but I've been yapping away all week, so my voice is ready for a break. Whenever it's Mercury retrograde too, I do notice my voice gets fatigued a little bit easier, which is so funny. Let me look here. I'm not Connor. I know. What do you want, Connor? Do you want Siddharth? What do you want me to call you? It's easy for me to keep track of based on the username. I'm like, who are you today? Yeah, I changed it in my bio a couple months ago that I am live Saturdays from 1 to 3, but it was slowing down now, so I was like, I don't want to just sit and stare at each other, twiddling our thumbs if there's nothing else that somebody had questions about. Siddharth, okay. Siddharth only works fine. Okay, there you go. So we'll do Siddharth. Siddharth will be the name. I got you. Okay. Alrighty. So I will see you guys on Monday on YouTube. TikTok, I will see you next Saturday. It was nice to spend the afternoon with you guys. Yeah, only Siddharth. Okay, perfect. I won't interchange them. But since there's no other questions, I will see you guys again. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with me. It was nice to touch base with you guys and be here and talk about some fun spiritual strategies. So thank you. Love to you guys. I'll say goodbye to you on TikTok first. Yeah, only Siddharth. Oh, there you go. Yes, it does. Anytime there was a friend of ours that his name was is Dan, and he said he would call himself only Dan's and create a special app about that, which I always thought was funny. But Siddharth, Deanna, Nicole, thank you guys. It was so nice to see all of you. Eloise, Ak, I will see you guys on Monday. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Thanks for being here.